Hello and welcome to some more Checkmate Patterns. So I set the difficulty level at 750 to 1250 rating level, but these are checkmate problems. So even if you're a beginner, you should be able to get these. So let's begin here. We have the queen. The white queen just moved up here to e6, so it's black's turn. What can black do here to checkmate the king? Now, pause the video at any time if you need to think longer. I'll try and do 10 problems. So take a look at this, and remember to look at checks first, as they're the most forcing. Now, looks like there's two ways you could check here. The queen sacrifice. The rook could also capture this pawn and deliver a check. So which one of those do you think would work better? Take a look at that. And if you're ready, here we go. So it looks like, we could probably give up our rook here. Now, if they capture, we just recapture with the queen, delivering a check. And the only thing that the opponent can do is block, and then we capture here and deliver a mate, because if you notice, we have this bishop lined up here attacking as well. Now, another thing they could try is, once we capture, remember, when a king is in check, there's three things that may be possible: capture the attacker, block the attacker, or run. So they don't necessarily have to capture with this pawn. Instead, they could try and block here. And then, we could go ahead, capture, delivering another check, and the king would have to run in the corner. And then our queen would be able to deliver a mate over here. So take a look at that. Try and figure out as much as you can in your head for beginners, but here we go. Capture, and they just capture immediately, and now we can just deliver the mate backed up by the bishop. And you notice we use three pieces there: rook, queen, and bishop. And a lot of times you'll see that's a recurring theme, that you need about three pieces. Not always, sometimes more or less, to checkmate a king. All right, let's move on here to the second problem. All right, the king was in check by the queen here, runs forward. Once again, do we have three pieces that can attack here? We have a bishop. We do have this pawn. But if the pawn tries to step forward, the rook battery here is covering that. So, we have the queen as well. So we want to look for checks first. And, all right. What checks do we have? The queen could go here, of course, or here and be captured. So that doesn't look so good. The other option may be to bring the queen here. And then where can the king go? Looks like his only square to run to would be here. And then, now when you're checking the king, you have to make sure you have a good follow-up as well. Because sometimes checking first may not be the best move. You might have to position a piece to cut off your opponent. But here I'm thinking we do have to check, because if we don't, then this rook battery could start chasing our king around. Okay, so we go up here and check. The pawn is covering this square. The bishop is covering here and here. The queen will cover these squares. and this one. So the only place the king, well, and this one, of course, the only place the king can go will be here. So then we have to figure out, what is our follow-up after that. So we bring our queen up here. The king runs over here. And then if we go up to e7, looks like the king would still be able to run here to c6. So maybe we have to do something else. And, well, I don't know. If this is the only place the king can run to, we could attack again with the, promote with the queen. And the king would have to keep running. I think that's a good way to go, though. All right, so we're going to check. The king will run here. We could go back here again and check. And that forces the king to really only have one option. Go here, which allows us to promote unless there's something better. Oh, no, the king can't. Okay, yeah, I didn't look at that correctly. So one thing you want to watch out when you start calculating deeper, you may think that a piece is on a different square, once you move the pieces around. So this is another reason it's good to practice these checkmate problems, and that'll help with your calculation along with your pattern recognition. All right, so let's get on with it here. We're going to check. The king is going to run. Then we might as well go here. And it looks like, the computer says we're winning here already. I guess because the only way to go is here. That'll allow us to promote to a queen. Then we'll have two queens versus their two rooks, and that should be more than enough to win. And we're chasing this king all over. All right, I won't go further. That way we can get through this and get the other 8 problems in. All right, we had a knight jumping forward here, attacking our bishop. But it's our turn, and we need to attack here. Okay, what pattern might we notice here? Well, if we look at checks first, we could go here, but then we would just be captured by the king. So it's probably better, of course, to go here, driving the king into the corner. So we go here, drive the king into the corner, and then it appears we can use the back rank mate pattern where we sacrifice the queen. It'll be captured. Well, not really a sacrifice, but we trade queens and deliver a back rank mate here on f8 with the rook. So for you beginners out there, try and calculate that before I actually show you the moves. Pause if you need more time. If not, here we go. Check. Then we deliver the back rank mate here. So back rank mates are great patterns to work on. So let's move on to the next problem. We were being checked here. Or excuse me. We are checking the opponent. The opponent was being checked and blocks with this bishop. Now we could just capture again here. I think that would work. All right, maybe we should check and see if we have anything better. Probably better to just take this bishop because we have a rook cutting the king off. Then once we take the bishop, we'll be cutting that king off further, forcing it into the back here. And then then what do we do? So capture, king is forced to go here, and then well, we could go here to continue to check. Oh, that works. If the king comes back out, then we can deliver a mate with our rook. But if the king goes into the corner, okay, so capture with check. King goes here. We go, oh, sorry, capture, king to the back in the corner. Then we go here delivering a check. If the king goes further into the corner, we have the back rank mate. So capture, check, and then another back rank mate here. And this time we are sacrificing the queen. All right, let's continue on. Keep this moving along. I hope you're doing well. All right. What happened here? The queen is moving up closer to our king, threatening a checkmate in 1 here. So we need to move quickly. But what can we do? All right. Well, we have multiple checks here. Of course, we don't want to go here with our queen, or it'll be captured with check and then a mate by their queen. So we have to make sure we have a good follow-up. If we go here, the king will be able to run. So the king can run here. And then what? Then do we just run out of checks? No. Then we can move here, delivering a check, and the king will be forced to go here. Oh, and then we can run here and mate. All right, for beginners out there, I hope you were able to figure that out and follow along. Pause the video if you need more time to look at it. If not, here we go. All right. Check and mate there. All right, a great pattern. It was interesting how the queen moved here, here, and then here to deliver the mate, working around the knight, and then our rook helps to prevent the king from running. And of course, this pawn is helping as well. So, another example of 3 pieces, including this pawn here, helping to deliver the mate. All right, we're halfway done. Let's get through the next 5 problems here. All right. Well, what can we do here? All right, we have the 3 pieces, and 4, I guess, if you count this pawn as well. If we look for checks, we could check with the rook up here, but then the king could start running. And of course we could check with the other rook here, but it would just be captured. So what else do we have? Maybe this knight jumping up here, delivering a check. The king can only run to here. And then it looks like we can deliver another check. The rook will block. We capture here and deliver a mate. All right. Try to figure that one out in your head. Pause and take a look at it if you need to. If not, here we go. Check, check, and mate. So A great pattern here of the rooks working together and the knight helping to protect this rook. All right, next problem. The queen, or excuse me, the bishop just blocked our queen, preventing a back rank mate here. But that's okay. We still have another check that will lead to a back rank mate. So see if you can figure that out. Look at all the checks. Okay, obviously we don't want to take that bishop because it's backed up by the queen. So hopefully you found the other check here. So once we check with the queen, the only thing that can be done is to block with the bishops, and then we would just capture here. The other bishop would be forced to block, then we capture, delivering the back rank mate, along with this rook helping to prevent the king from running. All right, here we go. Check, capture, capture, and we have the mate. With rook and queen. So nice little pattern there. And remember, solve puzzles and work on tactics problems regularly. And don't just do the problems once and forget about them, because then you might just forget completely the patterns that you learned. If you go over problems multiple times, it'll help to better cement those patterns into your memory. All right, what are we going to do here? Okay. We have a knight and a queen hovering around the king. So are two pieces enough to deliver the mate? Well, we could check here with the queen, but then what follow-up would we have? The king would just run into the corner, and there's not much we can do then. So maybe we have to go the other way. What if the queen delivers a check here, forcing the king over? Then we check again, and the king would have to run here. But then we can capture the pawn and deliver a mate with the help of this knight. So, solve that in your head if you can. And if you're ready, here we go. Check, check, and mate. So this is a nice little pattern here where I've mentioned before, if the king attacks with a queen and it's protected, either on the corners, there's a great pattern there. Because if a queen is attacking from a corner, as long as it's protected, in this case it wouldn't be good to go here on c3 or you'd be captured. But we see this pattern, and the only thing that would not be covered are these two squares. So that is an interesting pattern. Also, there's this other pattern. If the queen were here, and it would be protected by the knight, the queen would cover all of these squares. So another great little pattern. And in this case, the only two squares that would not be covered are here and here. So this is similar. We're covering here, but we're covering only these two squares. So in this case, you have to make sure that the king cannot run to any of these four squares. So this is a great pattern to know. And if you know these types of patterns and learn them by solving puzzles, it'll definitely help, and you'll be able to mate more quickly with the queen in your own games. All right, the final two problems. The bishop was under attack by the rook and drops back here. So now, what are we going to do? And we do have multiple ways to check here, but of course, this would be no good, or the bishop or the king could both capture us. So we need to look at other possible checks. Well, what can we do? Well, okay, if we look at checks first, as they're the most forcing, we could go here. Attacking the king. The rook is cutting the king off from running to the e file. So the king could go here or here. Now, if we go there and the king runs here and we try to follow up with another check, well then what can we do? If they block here, well then what? If the bishop blocks. Well then we would be able to go up here with the rook, because that bishop here would be pinned to the king. So, with all the arrows, it's starting to get confusing, but take a look at this, see if you can solve it. So let's take one more look. We check. The only options here are for the king to go here or here. Remember, when a king is in check, the options are to capture, and that's not possible to capture the bishop here. Block, well, nothing can block, or run. So the king will have to run. Now, if the king runs here, after we've put him in check, well, then what? We could continue to attack. Then the king could run forward even further. And then we could deliver a mate here with a bishop. So anyway, I'm going to get on with this problem. It looks like whatever we do, we'll be able to stop that king. King runs into the corner. So, we don't want to go here because the bishop is covering that. So we're going to check. And now we have a pin. That bishop is pinned, and it allows a back rank mate here. So, another great little pattern. All right, the final problem. Here we go. I hope you've been doing well so far. Rook is attacking our lone rook here. But we have the move, and the king is wide open here with no good defenders, it seems. So I'm thinking, of course we can't just go here because our rook would be captured here. If we go here, the king can escape and start running. So I think we need to bring our other rook out first, checking the king. Then we bring our rook back, checking the king again. And if the king tries to run forward, well then we can deliver the mate here. So, try to figure that out in your head. Hopefully you've solved it, and faster than I have. All right, so check. Now, we don't want the king to run back towards the center, so we're going to check the king again here and drive him to the edge of the board. And now that this rook is covering all of that G file, we're going to mate him here. So, a great pattern to know, especially for you beginners out there, with the two rooks working together and trapping the king on the edge of the board. All right, I hope you did well with those 10 checkmate problems. And, stay tuned for more in the future if you like these videos. Also, feel free to leave comments at any time. I always enjoy hearing from viewers and subscribers. And also like and subscribe to support the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for watching and have a super chess day.